Well, you remember I just did a video, I don't know, I think it was earlier, a few days ago, right? And of course, I was talking about how that, what's today, November the 2nd, and I told you they was going to extend it. Well, they did disappoint me a little bit. I thought they were just going to go for the gusto and extend it way on out to like 28 trillion. But they did go from 18 to 20 trillion. And this is the news source right here. Obama signs deal to double national debt from what it was when he entered into office. See, I told you that this country, this presidency, has no stomach whatsoever at all to balance the budget. He's not, I told you, no leader wants to, or so-called leader or perceived leader, wants to accept the responsibility of the country collapsing on their watch. Charge it. That's what RT says. Obama signs deal to double national debt from 2009 levels. President Obama has signed a budget deal for the next 2 years. That's just long enough to make sure he gets out of office real good, isn't it? That will raise the national debt ceiling from 18.5 trillion to 20 trillion, putting the U.S. debt at almost twice the level it was when he took office, when he first took office. The deal passed overwhelmingly in both chambers, both House and Senate, of the Republican-controlled Congress, with the House voting 266 to 167 on Wednesday, and the Senate approving the package 63 to 35 on Friday. Man. Well, what does it do? It allows for the Treasury Department to borrow another 1.5 trillion until March 2017. Wow. So what they did was make sure, well, we don't need to deal with these debt issues and problems for the rest of 2015, and we're getting sick and tired of it. Keep coming up every few months or every quarter in 2016. So let's just get it going until about March, in the first quarter 2017. Then we'll revisit again, and you know what we're going to do again? Extend it again. Because there is no answers. There's no solutions. Now, I've got the solutions, but it's too painful. It's too painful. Look, I'm not an economist. In any way, shape, fashion, or form. It's just simple, basic math. But I do know how to balance a checkbook. It's simple. And we can't continue to keep charging stuff we can't pay. Can the American people do that? If I had a $20,000 debt limit on my credit card, and if I wanted to pay off that credit card because I'm not making enough money to pay it, can I go ahead and write the credit card company and tell them to extend my credit to $22,000 so that I can use the money that has been extended in order to pay the minimum payment of my credit card? Then when I get to $22,000, I'll say, you know what, I can't pay this, extend it to $23,000, and with the money that you allow me to be able to extend, I'll use that money to pay off the debt that I already know. And am I really truly paying it off? Am I just kicking the debt farther and farther on down the street? You see, how in the world can we as the American public so-called trust in these boogers? They have no stomach to balance the budget and can't balance it because they're too psychotic in mind up here, thinking that they actually think rational. I mean, I told you they have no stomach whatsoever at all to balance the budget. They ain't going to. And of course, you don't feel the so-called pain of depression. We are in an inflationary depression. Oh, Pastor, I don't want to hear this. I get sick and tired of all this pessimistic talk. You ain't nothing but a bearer of bad news. You ain't got nothing good to say. Then your grandmama and all them teach if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. I mean, every time I come in, I get sick and tired of all I'm hearing about is nothing but just war, debt. I'm unsubscribing. Well, go get your peace then. I'm telling you right now, you better start hedging yourself. You better start protecting yourself against this tyrannical government and system. I'm telling you, because next, they're already selling land. Next, they're going to start selling the people. You better believe. Oh, no, Pastor. Okay, whatever you say. Anyway, the Treasury Department to borrow another 1.5 trillion until March 2017. 2 months after Bono leaves office. I told you. See, then even the first time reading it, just just enough to get out of the AO. At that point, wait a minute. Why in the hell we still sitting up there having Democratic and Republican debates a year and a half in advance? Anyway, at that point, the country's public debt will be around 20 trillion, and the debt ceiling will need to be raised once again. But what happened right here? The deal was brokered with the help of the Republican John Boehner and former Speaker of the House, who only left office on Wednesday. He said that the new increases did not represent a blow to fiscal responsibility. You damn liar, you. Because the long-growing national debt was offset by $112 billion in spending cuts. Many Republicans who lean towards fiscal restraint and support a balanced budget were upset with Congress agreeing to the deal. When President Barack Obama, entered the office in 2009, the U.S. debt obligations stood around $10.6 trillion. The debt currently stands at almost $18.2 trillion and is expected to approach the newly agreed upon limit by the time Obama leaves the White House in January 2017. Despite the national debt ongoing an unprecedented increase of $10 trillion during the Obama presidency, administration officials had previously criticized President George W. Bush for roughly doubling the national debt with a much smaller increase. When Bush took office, the country was facing debt obligations of $5.8 trillion, and it increased by about the same amount by the time his second term was up. And that means when the next president come in, he or she, whoever it may be, if it's at 20 trillion, it's going to be 40 trillion. By the time they get out of office. That's just the way it's going to be. You know, we've added in the last 8 years $4 trillion of debt to the national obligations. Former White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel said on Meet the Press 2009, just before Obama took office. The national debt stood at $4.4 trillion in 1993 when Obama, fellow Democrat Bill Clinton, took office over his 2 terms. Clinton increased the national debt by roughly 32% or $1.4 trillion. Though the debt increase under Obama has been by far the largest in dollar terms in U.S. history, it falls short of the percentage increase that was seen under President Ronald Reagan, inheriting a $998 billion debt from Jimmy Carter in 1981. Reagan left it at a $1.86 trillion in 1989 and increased of 186%. So, in other words, we are a broke-ass country, basically. That's just what they're saying. And we don't know how to balance the budget, and never will know how to balance the budget, because we used to be the greatest creditor nation on the earth. Now we're the greatest debtor nation on the earth. And if you've been paying attention like me, you know that all countries are now at a race and run to the bottom. China's devaluing their currency. Russia is devaluing their currency. The United States of America is leading the pack, and they're way on down the road by a couple of years devaluing their currency. England devaluing their currency. The euro is about to go tank up and everything. In other words, all this fiat currency is getting ready to come to an end. That's the reason why they're trying to work towards a cashless society, which it ain't going to work either. So that's why you see people like India and people like China storing up massive amount of gold and massive amounts of silver. Here in the United States of America, a few people that know what's going on. Every time you turn around, according to the Constitution, when you're supposed to be run out of silver, got to print it. Got to make it. Got to make the silver. Got to go ahead and hit it hard. Hit the metals hard. Print. Hey, get it out. Get them. Stamp them out good. And what does the United States of America do? They have a problem keeping eagles from coming out. See, there is a small, very informed group of people here in the United States of America, as few as we may be, that can see the writing on the wall. We clearly see exactly what's going on. And we're being laughed at, we're being scoffed, we're being mocked, we're being jeered, we're being mourned. And your daughters are becoming more worthless and worthless and worthless. And pretty soon, let me see what I said about a month ago. Silver should be at $600 an ounce. Man, you think about it. All you people that laughed at us. I'm telling you right now, I remember your faces and your names. I sure do. Don't come to my door, because I'm not going to be here to tell you so, because I've already told you so. Don't come to my door. Keep on trusting in uncertain riches. You deserve exactly what you get. Like I said, go back to sleep. Sleep on.